Right.
Brilliant, brilliant, cool. Hi everyone. My name is Phil Saville from CIS. We provide IT support and cybersecurity solutions for small to medium-sized businesses. So again, thank you for joining us, and we hope you're enjoying our sort of weekly 10-minute presentations and Q&A section. And hopefully finding it sort of helpful now and sort of in the future as well. So today's talk is on what is VoIP and why should you consider using it. And today I'm joined by Neil Lawson-Smith, the MD of CIS, who will be answering questions with myself that are raised during the live session. And we're also joined by Erin, who will be asking us the questions raised by yourselves. So everybody give us a wave. So please submit any questions in the comments below or contact us via our Facebook page afterwards. And of course, if you're watching a recorded version, then please continue to submit questions and we will come back to you. So I'm going to start off by sharing my screen. So bear with me. Here we go. Cool. There we are. Excellent. So what is VoIP and why should you consider using it? So as all my presentations, this is not technical by any means, and more of an overview and to sort of give you an insight. And I believe we already have some questions that other business owners have asked. So, you know, make sure you watch until the end, as they may be similar questions to what you have. And if they're not, please comment again, like I said, below, and we'll make sure that they are answered for you. So our aim today is to help you understand more about VoIP solutions. So with the current situation we are in, and let's face it, possibly the way we'll be working in the future will change. And if I'm really honest, I think more business owners are now more acceptable to finding better ways to work in general. And of course, hosted VoIP should definitely be on that list. Those that don't know about VoIP or know very little, I'm sure you'll be pleasantly surprised about what it can do for your business, whether it's the functionality and the cost reduction or just cost reduction if it's only a sort of a straightforward requirement. So first question, let's get this out of the way. What is VoIP? Basically, VoIP stands for Voice over Internet Protocol, but simply it refers to making phone calls that are made through the internet rather than through a regular landline or a mobile network. And the word hosted VoIP means that the technology to run the phone system is basically in the cloud and not on premises. And you can access this either via the web, mobile app, desktop app, or an actual physical desk phone. So VoIP has been around probably for about 25 years, but it has really developed fastly and you know, moved on sort of in the last 5 to 7 years. And it's not just about an alternative way to make calls. It's a real sort of advanced communication tool that's made easy to use. So if you're at home, in the car, trade show, or even abroad, if you have your device with you, you can receive and make calls using the work number. The incoming calls can be set up, managed however you like, and things like hunt groups and pickup groups and call queuing, etc., call forwarding and all that. So most hosted VoIP solutions are priced per user and include X amount of sort of 3 minutes charged per month. So this becomes sort of a set fee, so it's easy to budget and manage. But to really understand what a VoIP solution is, it's about knowing what the benefits and the capabilities are for you and your business. So here's a sort of a list of our hosted VoIP solution. But hopefully it will give you an idea of any VoIP solution capabilities out there. So you already have a computer and a mobile phone more likely, so you don't need to purchase, you know, additional hardware. And if you wanted a physical handset for the desk, then you can either rent one, or with a 3-year agreement, it's included within the license. And you know, so you just need to sort of fork out for the initial setup of the software. That's it. We can often reduce significantly when you switch to a hosted VoIP. However, the best way to identify this is if you share your details of what your current charges are. We can obviously cross-reference on what calls you're making, how often, and so on, and really sort of give you a transparent answer to will it save you money and how much. And of course, you can keep your existing number, or you can even create a new local or national number. The local area code doesn't have to be where you are either. So if you're on the outskirts of a city and you have a different area code, but you want to target the city, you can choose that number's, the city's area code, should I say, and have that as your number. So I hope that sort of makes sense. Customers will ring the same number they always have, except person answering the phone won't necessarily be in the office to answer it. And of course, they can transfer calls and so on. But when they're making calls out, again, it will display the office number regardless of where they are, at home, in the car, or wherever. And even complex call routing, different options, option 1 for this, option 2, etc., or call queuing to achieve, call queuing, all achievable to make it efficient for the business, and of course effective for your customers, so the customer service level remains and hopefully improves. You can obviously record calls with easy playback. And the biggest advantage and crucial for many businesses now in the future is that you can make calls from anywhere, from any device. And even more so, there's things like chat facility. You can see who's available, who's free, who's on a call or at lunch and a meeting, etc., annual leave. There's collaboration tools for file sharing and screen sharing, and you can add what's called a wall board, as you can see in the bottom right hand corner, which obviously monitors, gives you an update on call volumes and actions on who's on what. And you can integrate third-party applications like CRM or an accounts package, etc. And these are increasing all the time, and there's lots available that will do that. There is also call protection, and this is where it monitors and looks out for any excessive calls or expensive calls, and straight away will block that. And of course, if there's certain premium numbers, we can block them from the start, and decide, let you know what calls you're going to allow or not. And of course, it's perfect for businesses with multiple sites. You're using one system, you got site-to-site calls that are included. So yeah, it's really, if you've got a multiple site and you're not using a hosted VoIP solution, then you definitely need to sort of give us a call. And of course, there's even call center capabilities. So that's a majority of the sort of benefits, and just to give you a sort of really a flow of an idea of what a hosted VoIP solution can do and should do for you. So yeah, and to be honest with you, there's probably ones that I may have missed that might be ideal for your business. So again, if it's not on there in your business, then don't hesitate to give us a call or ask the question. So it was a very, very brief overview, and just to give you an insight of what VoIP is and how it should be used. So I'm going to remove my presentation now, and we're going to go back to some questions. So bear with me. There we go. Cool.
Great. Well, thanks so much for that, Phil. And I think that brief overview is really good, because I know we've spoken about VoIP quite a lot in some of our articles, and actually going back to basics and saying, what actually is this? Because actually I'm not sure I knew much about it. So thank you so much for that. It was a really, really good presentation. So hopefully now we're going to kind of evolve what you said a bit and kind of go into more detail on some of the questions we've had from other business owners. So I've got a few questions here. Neil, we're going to start with you, if that's all right. So one of the things with telephones and all the systems, and Phil, you touched on it briefly about going abroad to like a convention or a conference or something, and like what happens with that VoIP system?
Yeah, that's one of the very convenient things that VoIP allows you to do compared to the old traditional telephone systems, is that because it's digital and it works through the internet, you can go anywhere in the world and it makes no difference. So the software for the VoIP system, the telephone system, works on a smartphone or an iPad or a laptop. And much the same way we're using headsets now, you can sit in the comfort of a business suite or a conference center room, make all your phone calls as if you were still in your UK office with no loss of clarity or definition. So it makes really the most flexible way of working and still being able to communicate, obviously time zones permitting, but enables you to still have that presence in your office while you're away. And it's great. It's ultimately the flexibility to be on holiday and still, if you really want to be able to call in the office with something that's crossed your mind, it's available. So it's very, very flexible. As long as you've got a Wi-Fi connection, there's no additional costs involved, and you can literally make the phone call as if you were at your desk.
And following on from what you just said, going to Phil, you were talking about having a Wi-Fi connection and stuff, and obviously this is something that runs over the internet, if my understanding is correct. But what happens if you've got poor coverage in your area? Like, can you still use it in the same way?
Yeah, I mean, the way VoIP works is it has very small sort of data packages that are transferred. So actually, it's not a huge amount of impact. Obviously, you do need to bear in mind the more users that you've got doing those calls, and of course, you could have multiple calls going on at the same time, then you need to be aware. So we would always recommend actually for a business, it's worth having either an additional broadband line that you can then segment part of that off for your VoIP solution. You won't necessarily need all of it, but at least you can segment part of it off and dedicate that part to it. Or if you've got a really good broadband anyway, and you've got a lease line or something, then definitely section a part off, and it just then keeps it sort of more stable. But really, if it's one or two users at home, especially if you're at home, then you shouldn't see any difference at all, because again, like I said, the actual data packages on a VoIP call are quite small.
And just before we carry on to the next question, you were mentioning business broadband. Just to plug our latest offer, we've got an offer on for the whole of May, so you've still got a couple of weeks to go. If you are interested in business broadband, which lots of people are at the moment, given the working from home situation, we will install it for free if you buy your broadband line through us, and that's worth about £120. So a really, really good offer if you want to make use of that. And as I said, you've got a couple of weeks left to use that. So,
and also on that, just again, we did a Facebook Live a couple of weeks ago on broadband itself. So again, it's worth people, if you want, go onto our Facebook page and just re-watch that, and it might give you some ideas and give you some more information about making the right decision for you and your business.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so going back to the questions, Neil, we've got another one for you now. So obviously, a lot of traditional phone systems, they have recording systems in place. And for many businesses, that's really essential for various reasons, auditing, whatever. With these systems, can you have that same kind of call recording, on these digital systems? And how long can you store those recordings for?
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Erin, that call recording for some lines of business are mandatory. So financial services, legal, all those companies need a reliable call recording system as standard. Normally they would have a physical box inside their offices, and that actually can be a point of failure, because all the recordings sit on one physical machine, and if that machine breaks, you could lose a whole lot. So with the VoIP systems, because it's all digital and held in the cloud, it's all secure, first of all, and highly compressed and digitally stored, and it means you can store then either from a standard setup, which is 30 days. So automatically with our systems, you get a 30-day recording of incoming and outgoing calls. So they're available, and there's all security attached with that about who can get into those. Optionally, if you feel that your business needs a longer retention time, that can be extended to from 30 days to 6 months, a year, or particularly for legal side and financial side, and possibly even for architects as well, you can have up to 7 years. So that's just a small increase in the monthly payment, but that will give you comfort of mind that whatever calls have taken place, you can call them back electronically at any point, and there's a very easy way of searching for phone numbers or contacts, so it's very easy to pick up those calls. There's a full web interface to it, and then you've got those for posterity, so that if there was any issue or query later on about who said what, well, that's instantly available. So that's the beauty of that sort of technology, is that it can very much adapt. And the great thing is that that isn't something that you've got to have right across the board for every user. So one of the things with the physical systems is that typically it records every phone call for everybody all the time, and that means that after a while you could run out of space. But with the VoIP system, you can potentially have only a 30-day time retention for a receptionist, but you may want perhaps for a tax advisor in an accountancy office the 7 years perhaps. So you can really pick and choose exactly where that recording technology is available. So it's really, really flexible.
Great. And over to you, Phil. We've got the last question. Actually, we've got obviously, like right now, we're doing things like using Zoom and stuff for our calls, and there are loads of features that are really useful, like screen sharing and remote control, that kind of thing, and that's really useful to a lot of people. So I guess people are wondering, you know, can you use these kind of features in a similar way with VoIP?
Yeah, again, really good question, and just want to sort of start off really because the beauty again of hosted VoIP is that you can add and you can amend your license that you're on, and you can adapt according to how your business changes or how you want to sort of implement new features and functionality. So it sort of grows with you, which is really good, rather than have to fork out for the top of the range and then not use half of it until sort of a year or 2 years later. And one of those sort of add-ins is what on our system is called. It's called Collaboration Plus, and again that can give you exactly that. It can give you screen sharing, you can file share, you can almost manage projects through that, and it does sort of it's very similar to your sort of team and your Zoom sort of facility wise. And again, if people are really interested in that, then we can provide a demo to show that in more detail, to see whether that fits in. And again, it's all in one application, and it can work that way.
Great. Well, thank you both for answering those questions. It sounds like a really flexible system. So if any of you watching have any questions about anything we've said, then do feel free to write in the comments, or you can... Oh, yeah, we've got a point. Go on.
Well, I was just thinking, actually, a lot of people might not know what VoIP actually looks like. And although we're using headsets, so apart from being on a normal phone or a laptop, you can still have, as I have here, I have a preference for a traditional handset. So this, if you prefer to have this, but the great thing is they all combine together, so it doesn't matter which one I use. I can use any of them at any one time, whichever I prefer. If I'm walking around and outside, I use my mobile. If I'm at the desk as I am now, I prefer to use a handset here with a headset. As you can see, the little light, you can see that green buttons there. I can see who's busy, who's not busy. So you can have the full secretarial workstation. So the transition from what you know as an ordinary phone system to the new VoIP system is totally seamless. Just thought it'd be interesting because a lot of people wonder, what does VoIP actually look like? And I thought that'd be quite interesting. It just occurred to me while we were talking about that.
Yeah, and I guess setting that up for them is something you guys can help with as well, for sure.
Well, that's great. Yeah, exactly. And delivering these phones, they're smart phones, so they simply plug in and go. They're self-configuring and very maintainable all through a cloud Windows system. And the great thing is we have a terrific 3-year scheme where the phone is given to you free of charge. So if you want the phone, if it's a 3-year agreement, we'll provide that free of charge to anybody who wants a phone.
Amazing. Great.
Cool.
So if you have any queries about that, or if you're interested in kind of finding out more about that deal, then you can either message us on our Facebook page, or you can email solutions@CIS Ltd, and we'll do our best to help you. We're really looking forward to next week's video as well. We've got a kind of theme around mobile data management and using your own personal devices. Obviously, that's a really big topic at the moment, everyone using their personal laptops, phones from home. So if you've got any questions either about this week or next week, then do leave them in the comments, email them to us, and we really look forward to answering those for you. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you, Neil and Phil, for answering the questions and your presentation.
Have a great week. Thanks,
All
everyone.
right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.